my experience under apartheid is I'm sort of a younger generation, so I don't have a direct experience of apartheid. I was born in 1981, so literally between I was a very young child. So my own memory of maybe perhaps participating in student protests, it's not as strong as obviously an older generation. But I think one of the things that I took from growing up, especially in a household where it was spoken about and you did know that it existed, was that the legacy of group areas and apartheid, it was with you regardless of whether or not you had a traumatic experience, that you lived the legacy of it. So my experiences and my memories of apartheid are not so much about feeling perhaps direct discrimination, but, and this is the success of apartheid, it was about being kept in a distinct community and only being allowed to move to certain places, go to visit certain spaces like malls, churches even. In Cape Town you have the northern suburbs, the southern suburbs, and you sort of have the city centre. I grew up in the northern suburbs of Cape Town. So the northern suburbs were, some people would see it as not more rural, because it wasn't really more rural, but as sort of the city expanded towards the Hottentot Holland Mountains, you find that a lot of farms were being bought up and subdivided, and these new suburbs were being built in order to accommodate these new group areas that were being built as well. So I grew up in what is considered the northern suburbs, East River. It's interesting to watch younger kids actually grapple with that, because for them it's almost a given. If you're growing up in a particular township, going to particular schools, it's almost a given that this is where you come from, this is your racial or your cultural group. And I think what has been really empowering about the museum's educational programs is that young people come from different communities and then really start talking about who they are in the city and understanding that race is something that is also learned and imposed, and they start to question that, and so their relationships with each other start changing.